Welcome to Wind Down Wednesday. Here are your hosts, Jeffery, Tobias, Halter, and Amanda Hammett.
This is Wind Down Wednesday, a contemporary midweek discussion on current workplace and marketplace issues with a focus on diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and equity. And as always, enjoyed with your favorite wind down beverage of choice. I'm Jeffery Tobias Halter, and this is my friend and colleague, Amanda Hammett. Hi, I'm Jeffery Tobias Halter. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesday. We're going to be examining the Great Resignation today. This is such a hot topic, and there are so many areas that you can look at that it's impacting both the business world and people's lives. And so I'm here with my co-host, Amanda Hammett. And Amanda, what is your wind down beverage of choice today?
All right, today I am drinking a Cabernet Sauvignon from the Banshee out in Napa Valley. So cheers.
Very nice. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I'm going the seasonal route. I actually have a pumpkin spice latte that I'm enjoying today as part of the seasonal flair.
Who is the millennial here?
That's pretty funny. So anyways, so the Great Resignation, we want to give our listeners really a couple things today, talking about what can companies do. I think one of them is acknowledging the issue and then, talking about what are the answers. I've got some data that I'll just throw out there that I think is so critical about the current state of this. This came out of a Business Insider headline. Another 4 million workers quit for the 5th month in a row. An average of 3.4 million workers per month quit during the first half of 2021. This is unprecedented in the last 20 years.
It is.
And so, we're going to explore this from age, millennials, boomers, Zs. We're going to look at the impact of COVID. And so go ahead and kick us off. What are your thoughts around this? And really, what do employers need to be doing?
Jeffrey, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I did at the very beginning of COVID say, this is going to be a perfect storm. Whenever cyclically the US is coming out of a recession, we always have a massive amount of voluntary turnover. So those are the people that are quitting their jobs of their own volition. And I said, it's going to be a perfect storm between, seeing how they were treated with COVID, seeing how they were treated with all the rise of the social justice issues, and just being burned out from just 2020. This is going to be a perfect storm. And it has been a perfect storm. And every company is clamoring, figuring out, how do we hold on to people? How do we bring in new people? And it's actually creating, I think, a bigger problem within companies because they're causing it themselves internally. So one of the things that I'm seeing specifically, not just with my Gen Zs and Millennials, but with my Gen Xers and with my boomers, is that company culture is tightening the ropes. They're trying to control a lot when they really need to be saying, hey, we're individuals, we're people first. We need to be treating our employees as people. And that is something I think that's been missing. It's been really bottom line focused when we really need to focus on the people. That's something across the board generationally. But for my millennials, my Gen Zs, they are really looking at diversity. Actually, Great Places to Work just put out a study that came out today, in fact, and it says the top 5 things that Gen Z is looking for in a workforce. Number 1, diversity. Diversity at all levels. They're looking at these things. When you're trying to recruit young employees, they are looking for diversity, diverse slates at all levels. So not just the people that they're going to be working with directly, but the people throughout the entire company. And I think that COVID and 2020 did not do us any favors as far as diverse slates were concerned throughout leadership.
Yeah. Can you talk about the other 2 or 3 top ones?
Yeah, so the other 2 or 3 top ones were, of course, flexibility was one, and then, being able to learn and move up and not just having a very linear career path. So
yeah. And, and I think it's interesting, and I love your perspective because you also work in, you spend a lot of time in tech, you spend a lot of time in startups. We think this is a big company issue, when in fact it's everywhere. And it's not just food service. It's truck drivers. We need 100,000 truck drivers. We've got a supply chain issue. Well, it's not just the ports. There's no truck drivers. We've got construction issues. We need general laborers. We need IT professionals. What are your leaders talking about doing when you talk to them? Because you talk to some of the smartest people in the biz, and how are they solving this?
That's a great question. There's a lot of hand wringing going on. We don't understand. We're offering more money. We're going out with more perks. And I keep explaining it's not a perk. It's not about beer taps in the, kitchen or beanbag chairs or even more money, even though the money is nice. But it's also about, and this is something we're going to check in on in the next riffing session, is empathy. Those frontline leaders, developing them to actually communicate human to human with those early in career employees or everybody. Treat everybody as a human, not as a number. And that is something that we need to develop within our company cultures.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. It just, and it's something as simple, and yet it's so hard, right? It's the once a week asking your employees, how are you doing? How are you really doing? I mean, I'm going to use myself first person, and I'm embarrassed to acknowledge this. I worked in the field, but I had an admin in the company headquarters. She supported me for 3 years. I never knew the name of her husband or her children. It was just kind of, we put our head down, we worked. She supported me. She supported about 8 of us. And we never thought about this. We never thought to check in and just the simple question, how are you doing? I think leaders need to add this on a macro basis and say, how are you really doing? And what's going on? Because, for boomers, it might be aging parents plus COVID. For millennials, it may be school-age kids. We're going through yet another surge. Our school's going to be open. Our school's going to be closed. This is just mind-boggling.
Thanks again for joining us for Wind Down Wednesdays, a contemporary midweek discussion on current workplace and marketplace issues with a focus on diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and equality. I'm Amanda Hammett, and on behalf of myself and Jeffery Tobias Halter, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for Wind Down Wednesday. If you like this episode, please subscribe to receive more episodes straight to your inbox.